Welcome back to the channel. So here I have the iPad Pro M4 version, and to be honest, I wasn't originally going to get it. I mean, yeah, it's a great update. My previous iPad was the iPad Pro 2020 model. It was just running fine really, but I went into an Apple store and I tried the iPad Pro M4. Should you upgrade to it? Really, the first thing that stands out is a screen and faster processor, and that's pretty much it, really. Or is it? Well, let me grab out my older model, the 2020 version, and let's have a side-by-side comparison. I think that's probably the best way if you've got an older model. Now, here they are side by side. Immediately off the bat, you can probably tell that wallpaper's better. That's not necessarily because of the screen, but in hand, in front of you, I can definitely say the OLED screen obviously pops out. Now, the LCD screens are actually really good on the iPads. They're some of the best screens. Keep in mind, I've also got a screen protector on this one. But they're some of the best LCD screens around, and they are just amazing. But when you have it side by side, for instance, the red icon for the music logo, you can see it's just really true. I mean, if I bring that up here, I mean, yeah, having a look at that, it's definitely a deeper red. You obviously can't see it as much on the camera, but close up in person, you know, that's what you can see straight away. So obviously the screen is superior. It's obviously the weight factor as well. This one measured at 470 grams. Now, when you hold it in your hands, it was fine. It got heavy. I used to get a bit of cramp in my hand. Now this one, I think 440 grams, is it? It's just completely lighter. I can hold it comfortably and longer with one hand. That 30-gram reduction is just amazing. It's just so comfortable to hold, and I've even used it in portrait mode as well. Browsing the internet, it obviously is wide. I mean, if you want total comfort with this sort of format, you really need to go for an iPad mini, but it was just amazing. Yeah, form factor definitely wins it. It wasn't, is it worth the upgrade for just the form factor? I don't think so, to be honest, because most people with an 11 are fine holding it for a tiny bit, and most hand stamina doesn't really go that far anyway with large tablets. But in terms of the screen and the processing power as well, I use LumaFusion, and immediately all my projects have been really quick. I mean, by comparison, my LumaFusion projects have just been a breeze to do on here. They compile so quickly. With my iPad Pro 2020 model, that's just me, what I used to get was sometimes with the timeline, it wouldn't appear, it would lag and then suddenly just sort of pop up. I mean, it's got 6 gigabytes of RAM, so it was a decent model, but with this one with 8 gigabytes and the M4 processor, it's just amazing. I've got a MacBook Air M1, I don't really need to do projects on that, and to be honest, it's just far more enjoyable making projects on here. Now, in terms of the actual gaming, sorry about that. In terms of other stuff such as gaming, and the screen is just buttery smooth. Honestly, the 120Hz seems faster because of the processor on here. Now, in terms of gaming, I don't really game on here. I've got games on here, and I know things like Assassin's Creed are on here, Death Stranding. I'm not really going to try it out. I may give Alien Isolation a go because I'm a fan of that game later on. But in terms of that, I don't really want to push this in terms of gaming. I'm not really secure with Apple gaming as such, particularly with games getting removed from the digital storefront. There's a whole cloud save issue. It's not like Steam where you can pop up in 5 years and the game's still there. More than likely the games are gone. The only game I did try on my iPad Pro 2020 was Civilization 6, which ran decently, and I'd imagine it run good on here, but I didn't buy this for games. I've got other devices for that as well. So obviously the screen, the processor, and just the weight aspect of it are the ones that have basically made me want to choose this iPad. Now, in terms of an upgrade, it is obviously a steep price. I had 4 years before I upgraded. If you're selling an old one, then obviously it is worth it. But otherwise, it's a lot of money. If you have an M1 iPad, I would say not to upgrade. Honestly, not to upgrade to it. And I think I would have done the same as well, because you're perfectly fine with an M1 and M2 iPad. If you have the previous one, the A12 chip, which is the 2020 model, you're okay with that one, but to be honest, it's one once I saw this, and I can't show you HD movies, but the HDR content is just absolutely phenomenal on here. The blacks are pure black and the lighting just pops out at you. It's just amazing. I almost had to just, I think, what was I watching? I think it was Man of Steel. And the lighting, I just had to kind of squint, put the brightness a bit down, but it was just honestly amazing. They are overpriced, but you get what you pay for. It's quality, and because of the sort of form factor of it, I was kind of expecting another Bengate on it, but it seems to be quite straight. And I haven't heard of any issues yet. But yeah, this has been a great purchase. I'm going to end up keeping it for a few years anyway. And the next one I'm probably looking out for is an iPad mini, just for that extra portability. But again, I might have to sell another device in order to raise funds for that. The case I was using is actually off of Amazon. It's an ESR case. It's about 15 quid. It's a magnetic one. And that's mainly the reason why I chose it. So, lock straight in. I'm a bit scared to test this, but it is quite strong at hanging there. And yeah, it's got this flap, which is, I think it was meant for the pen originally, but I quite like how it's secure. Then you obviously take it off. It's got the triangle one, but the great thing is you just flap it over and it's actually quite secure. But I like the fact I can pull it off and just use it in tablet mode and just discard that. And yeah, that's quite good. Now in terms of other accessories, I'm not going to invest in a Magic Keyboard. I've already got a Magic Keyboard for my 2020 model. I'm not going to invest in a new one for this one just because the price is just way too much. And I don't think I need one, to be honest. I've got a Magic Mouse 2, which I recently used. Yeah, and it's not too bad. I don't like the ergonomics of the Magic Mouse as such, but yeah, it kind of just, it does the job. It's got the swiping on it. Yeah, it's really quite, I mean, it gives me, I've got large hands, so it gives me hard, sort of the hard hand cramp. I'm more of a fan of the Logitech mice, the MX Master 3. That's what I'm using primarily for this one. But it's quite nice to see that this 3-4-year-old device that I've got works quite nicely. And I just end up using a cheap Bluetooth keyboard, to be honest. I don't really need a Magic Keyboard. The Magic Keyboard is great, but I haven't got the budget for it at the moment. And I don't really need it, to be honest. Another big question, should you buy the iPad Pro M4 for media consumption only? If you have lots of money to burn, yeah, go for it. Get it for media consumption. If you just want the OLED screen, I know a lot of people consider the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 because it is a lot cheaper. If you're into your Apple movies and things like that, obviously you need an Apple device. If you don't have access to an OLED TV, then I'd perhaps consider, but if you consider the price of this, you can get a really, really good OLED TV for less than this tablet. So there's that to consider. If you're looking at for just media consumption, there are other alternatives there. You need the complete package, and for me, it was a complete package. I've got my projects to do on LumaFusion. I've got, obviously, the movies and consumption in addition that I can watch, maybe games later on. It's also a workstation for me if I need to go out and about, and obviously there's a portability side, and I haven't upgraded in a while, so I think you've really got to balance it out because this is not a cheap device, but again, you get what you pay for. This hard case is also from Amazon. I can post a link to it in the description below. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I might do a long time review on this, I might not. We'll just have to see. I mean, again, because I've got the 2020 iPad Pro model, it just hasn't sort of seemed like a substantial upgrade in terms of design, or put it this way, if you had them side by side, most people probably couldn't tell the difference. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, like and subscribe, and until next time.